Welcome back. Yes, we are still engulfed by the music virus that our icon here is spreading across, and we enjoy it. And we want to move into another, you know, very touchy topic about music. Let's look at this. How murky
Mm.
is music waters?
It's it's tough. It's very tough. I can say that much. It's very, very tough. When for me, music was a getaway.
A getaway.
Yes, for me, it was a getaway because it was the only way I really had fun because I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, still don't drink, still don't smoke.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too. Never had.
So I threw a lot of the passion was overwhelming. And those days I loved it so much I never thought about money. I did so many free shows. There are shows I performed. I shared the same stage with top acts, and my friends were like, "Oh, boy, you go don't hold something." I wasn't paid even one penny, not even transport money.
Wow.
I just wanted to enjoy myself. Yeah, but I've come to understand in life that once your passion is almost overboard, you will earn.
Yeah, you will earn. You
Definitely.
will earn.
At some point, there'll be recompense.
Definitely.
Yes, that's my story. But it's
Okay.
tough. And, those days, I come from a generation where, first of all, when I got into it, you needed to go to a record company. The record companies then had their studios. You had to be auditioned if you were good enough to be recorded.
Do a demo.
Yeah, you must do a demo and all that. And for those who don't know what a demo is, a demonstration tape. You had to do all that, and it now transitioned from then to
Doing a master's.
no, that particular era to
Okay.
where we now had what they call marketers.
Okay.
That became a crazy period of the industry. The marketers were like lords,
Goals.
gods. They determined what happens. They'll pay you something and get your work out, and they were making a kill. And but now, with where technology has placed us, nobody's talking about marketers anymore.
They are gone.
They-
Gone for good. Gone for good.
nobody's talking about them. But it's tough. It's especially the recording side of the industry. It's not easy at all. And I've come to realize that talent alone,
It's not enough.
no. I have come to realize that I am also a living. This is that talent alone. You know, when I went to when I went for my youth service in Lagos, I told myself I will not be coming back to Port Harcourt. I told myself I was done with Port Harcourt. I got into Lagos, did shows, enjoying myself, but will I say maybe a higher force wanted me to come back because certain things happened that I just had to.
I hope it wasn't. I hope they were not very bad.
No, no, no.
But I am happy that those higher forces came down.
One of them was my mom. My mom
Okay.
was so ill. So I kept coming back and forth, and at some point I just said, no, let me just come back to Port Harcourt. And that was it. Before I knew what was happening, I had stayed 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I had to resign. Where I was working, I had to resign. And that's how I came back to Port Harcourt. And while in Lagos, observed so many things and was also there to witness the advent of what today they call Afrobeats or whatever. Because I was in Lagos when Kenny and D1 came back to the country from America.
Yeah.
And they had imbibed certain aspects of taking the music in a different direction. It was quite revolutionary what they started doing, which changed the whole narrative.
Narrative,
It
yeah.
did, it did, and all that. I was in Lagos then when all that was taking place. I decided to come back, and for me, I never wanted to. Music, like I said, music for me was more of a getaway. It was my way of having fun. I never wanted to record an album. I preferred performing live and just enjoying myself. But friends were on my case. No, record, record. So I wasn't too bothered when certain things happened. Like I almost got a deal with Premier Music, had meetings with them last minute. This one no happen, that one no happen. I said, it's not what I want to kill myself over.
Wow.
Yes.
Every other kid would jump into such.
No, I just said no.
I myself.
Then, then I came to Port Harcourt doing shows. Then some funny stuff started happening. At some point, I just told myself, fuck this thing. Let me just leave this thing and just. I started developing a serious knack for production. I started enjoying production because even those days, either I'm working on my own project or somebody else's. When we go into the studio, I'm the only person who doesn't fall asleep. They'll tell you, Pupa no they sleep. So whenever the engineer is doing his thing, after we've taken vocals and all, I am watching. I am asking questions. If we're talking about asking questions, I remember those days when we were doing demo. May God bless his soul. You remember the famous duo of One World, Uncle Annie and Uncle Sam.
Annie, Uncle Sam.
I still see
Uncle
Uncle
Sam
Annie.
is late, right?
Sam
But
is
Uncle
passed.
Annie is still alive.
Yes, I
Wow.
still see him. That's my.
He's our father.
Oh God.
He's
Oh God.
unforgettable.
Oh, that man is. So I remember the first time I went to do a demo with them. Then they used to have their studio, classic studio at
Abarud.
Yes. Oh my God. Then it was 50 naira. But to get that 50 naira,
50 naira for a demo area, a 4-track song.
you will be saving coins.
You can't get it.
50
naira. Wow. Wow, you remember?
Yeah.
50 naira to do a demo.
So I remember we were doing a song and I was telling them, I said, I don't want the bass here. At this point, I want Uncle Sam now look at me. You know one bass here. You know one drum here for 50 naira. My friend, go and sing your thing and you know, so
very straightforward, Uncle Sam.
Yes, but there's something beautiful that happened. Because then a lot of people, when most studios I go to, either I go to help out friends or do my stuff, I will ask questions and I always wanted to try different stuff. They said I was a problem. I said, but the end should justify
the means.
Yes, if at the end of the day what I am suggesting turns out right, at least let's try it. But you won't believe it, a lot of those things today is what I see people do today and I just laugh.
Yes.
You know, one sound engineer actually told me in Lagos back in the day, he said, young man, you are way ahead of your time.
Your time.
So a lot of these people will not even understand what you're trying to do.
Can I tell you, Uncle Sam told me that one day. He told me. He sat me down. In fact, we did a song and then by the next day, sorry to cut you, by the next time, you do a song, then you come to pick it. So when I came for the song, Uncle Sam was very angry. He was very angry that actually he just packaged it. But Uncle Anis listened to it and then did not feel okay. He now sat me down and we started talking. You know what he told me? He told me that you are ahead of time. You want to sing, you want to write like Bob Marley. You can't for now. You have to grow. Now he was patient enough to let me know, but Uncle Sam wasn't. Uncle Sam just felt package it and give to this guy.
I said I heard a lot of I look like the guy told me, said, young man, when I listen to your ideas, I can understand with you. But you see, a lot of these execs and all these people, now they can't connect with what you're doing. But trust me, years to come, what you're trying to do now is what people will be doing. And his words came through, come to pass.
Good.
They've come to pass. So I started enjoying production a lot more. And the more I was enjoying production, the less I was taking on shows to perform. I was turning down a lot of shows. I got my own system, put it in my bedroom. Took 1 year on my own to learn this, learn that, and all that. I was reading. I already have a crazy passion for reading, so I was reading up production and all that. And at the end of the day, production took over from performing. So now, if anybody asks me, "Do you sing?" I say only if the money is very good.
Wow. Finally, you want to be paid well now.
If the money is very good, I'll sing. Like I did Rivers at 50.
Okay.
I sang at Rivers at 50. That was 2017.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, hey. I say, relax. Relax. Just smoke on and manage this one. Let's move on.
Was it recorded like an album or something? Or just a performance? A day performance?
Well, Rivers at 50?
Yeah.
No, was a concert that was a presentation.
Okay, it was a concert.
Different artists and all that.
Okay.
So they gave me my time. I rehearsed with the band and gave them an idea how it's supposed to be done. And the crowd was calling for an encore. I said, no, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done.
Wow. The crowd knows. The crowd has followed you over 30 years.
Yes.
I was one of those crowds.
Oh, my. There's this guy. I do a reggae program on radio.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for almost 18 years now or more. There was this guy who phoned in and was reminding me of one of those shows I did back in time. I was carried by some heavy guys into the arena and all that. I said, were you there? He said, yes, I was there. I said, wow.
Let me tell you one of those. There was this day in Main Bowl. What was it called? Civic Center. Yes. I don't know what happened. Fans just got angry and started stoning. We didn't have pure water those days, so they were stoning
bottles. Yes,
they were stoning bottles.
Yes.
And I can't remember what exactly happened. And then you managed to climb the stage and you picked up the microphone and you say, Port Harcourt, is this your best? I remember that's what Port Harcourt, is this your best? The stones started reducing, and you were there. You were not scared, and I was scared. What happens if this bottle hit you? And they were careful. Nobody threw bottles at you, but they were smashing them on the stage. And then when you said that, and Port Harcourt crowd, I'm talking about Main Bowl, full capacity.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it was still fans who came down and started clearing
the stage of the bottles.
You had a lot of followership.
Yes.
Even though you didn't have an album.
Yes.
Lives of Art of People had an album, Dan Wilson, of course. But you didn't have an album, but you had
and the mystery.
Followership.
The mystery is that all over the country, that when I performed, I was doing my own songs.
Yes.
Songs people were hearing for the first time, but they will react to it like.
No, you had a niche. You had a niche.
And that came with its own price. There was a lot of bad belly.
Really?
Yes. I suffered a lot of bad belly. But
wow.
It's okay.
Wow.
It's very okay.
I remember there was this show. I have to go back in time. I mean, there was this Opa Williams show.
Yes.
And the usual thing, they play a song and then you sing on the song. I remember one of these, they said, no, Papa, no, this is not how. I want a band here.
I was the first person they did a band for.
He said, I want a band here. I don't want this sound. I want a band here. Because you command the band.
Yes.
Your music is always
yes, because my music was lyrics based.
Yes.
That's the power of my music, the lyrics. Because what I did with my music was I will deal with issues people could relate with, but I'll embellish it with some humor.
Yes.
So that it can temper it. But later you will think back and say, this guy was actually saying something serious.
What?
I'm
trying to think. There's this one.
Don't remember anything.
That one! Oh my God. It went with the music.
I did some songs that I asked myself, now, did you actually say words?
Did you actually say? Me, I was surprised. I was saying, this guy asked parents, do they not talk to you?
Did he say stuff like that? But then that was what it was then.
That was what it was. And we were wild. We were carried. It was a bug. It was a bug that caught all of us.
Oh,
and as much as the bug would be very interesting, ironically, very interesting, there's still some, while growing up, we didn't have the luxury of internet, but we followed. I still remember Tabansi,
Yeah.
Majek Fashek.
Yes, I opened that show.
Okay, no. Okay, I want to. Yes.
Majek Fashek's first performance in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt.
At Civic Center, I opened that show.
Okay. Yes. Yes. All right. No, but now what I want to talk about is we had their differences.
Yes.
We had the differences between Failing Records and what's this guy's name again?
Isaac Black.
Isaac Black.
Yes.
He had a problem with the record.
Isaac
Yeah.
Black.
Isaac Black. Yes. And it's been like that until even recently. We are having Messi Chinwo. And then what is all of this? What would you think is a problem?
And both parties are my friends.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So now, not talking about them as your friends.
I know.
Look at it from a monumental issue
You see,
that has dated back. I started with
over time.
with Tabansi
Over
and
time, and not
Majek
not
Fashek.
just in these parts, all over the globe. Yeah. Money has always been the bane.
Okay.
The arts is it's something mankind and society can't do without. There'll always be music.
There'll always be
There'll
music.
always be music. Now, and for me, I think you can't put a price on talent. You can't put a price on creativity, but you're just doing what you think is symbolic for now. How much do you pay for talent?
How much?
Yes. But like in our own time, a lot of naivety. A lot of people
Ignorance.
didn't sign contracts. But these days, I'm glad a lot of the young ones today, they know what. Yeah, you still have those who still display that level of ignorance out of excitement. You want to be heard. Somebody says, I'm going to get you on this platform. You want to be heard. Yeah? So they just do what they do. I was watching an interview. The only surviving member of the Mighty Diamonds.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Lloyd George Ferguson. He said they never knew the people got paid for making music. So when they did those hit songs, I Need a Roof and all those, all they wanted was let people hear their voice on radio.
Okay.
Until they went to do shows outside Jamaica and realized that they were so big, their music was so big. In fact, some foreigners said they believe that they should be riding Rolls Royce and all that. They said Rolls Royce. Say yeah. Then they knew that the people who were selling their music were making so much money, but they would just give them
Stipends.
You're gonna leave I take this one now. Buy shirt, buy trouser for yourself, or okay, buy a motorcycle. Yeah, it was the same thing everywhere. Now I don't know the details about my friends, their case, but you see, money always brings problem. If you check most of the splits between an artist and his, it comes down to money. But you ask yourself, what is fair enough?
What is fair enough? Now I want to let's have a divide now. Let's cause trouble. You, the artist, me, a record promoter, a music promoter. Now, I have been in that shoe. Now, I am not indicting artists because I remember that Bonnie Wailer, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, the Wailers, their producer then Lee Perry, Scratch. After doing their song, sold their song to Europe, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
And then he now made so much money. But then that rip up, that betrayal actually launched them in Europe and eventually make them become who they were today. Now, Fine, that happens. But I'm looking at, there are a lot music promoters, record labels, so to say, spend. Pupa K, if I tell you what I spent between 2005 and 2010 trying to promote artists, you won't believe it. If my family hears it,
say that is why
they're gonna go. Hey, they won't be happy.
Alobi, that is why you have contracts.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Yes.
I'm coming to that. And then an artist, let me use pick unquote. You pick out of the dungeon. You pick out somebody's the thing they will tell you is I just want to be heard, like you said earlier. And then you now put in money. Pupa K, I didn't have cameras, I didn't have lights, I didn't have all of these things. I'll go and hire them with high cost. Shoot a movie, shoot a music video, get people to do these things, and I pay heavily. You have a studio. You know what it takes. Duncan was Duncan was my producer then. And then even at that, I know how much it cost me. I had a discussion with Duncan privately. Now he said, this is an album, this is a record thing. Now it's not going to be, I'm not going to, yes, I'm a staff of Media Freak, but then for doing this is the extra cost you have to pay. I agreed on that. That was huge. It happened that was also a fuel shortage. So we were buying fuel in black market. And I will buy fuel in black market. And I will pay the producer. And it's my studio. And after all of this, I will go to a radio station, pay hundreds of thousands for you to be promoted.
Artists to be heard.
And at the end of the day, I will also gather equipment. See that I shoot your music videos. Bros. And then you come up. None of my artists did that anyway, but I'm looking at it. I'm feeling the pulse of this record.
No, but like I said,
and then all of a sudden, you now remember that you didn't sign. You now remember that you should have got more. Gosh, did you know how that guy did?
Yes.
How?
See, that's the thing, yeah? That's why I said, if it spells out in black and white, you know what you're getting into. Because naturally, if somebody invests in you, they need to recoup their investment naturally. Yeah? So, if you have a contract, this agreed, yeah, for XYZ, this is what you're going to get. And as that brand improves, naturally it carries everybody along. Because if you have an artist on your label and the artist is doing well, the artist name is tied to that label, so it's a win-win.
Yes, supposed to be a win-win.
Supposedly it's supposed to be a win-win. But you see, let me tell you something. I have been part of this whole drama. When the artists, that's why even groups, it becomes very tough. You begin to make new friends. You begin to make people who now believe they have your interests more than even you yourself.
Yeah.
People begin to tell you stuff. Then next thing you're looking at it, I don't think I'm getting enough. I should be getting more than this. But are you asking yourself, who put in the money?
Who put in the money to get you to that level?
Come out? Because there are loads of people out there who want to come out who have not gotten the opportunity. Yeah? But the person who is investing will also know that he is investing in an egg.
That may not hatch.
May not. Yes. But because you believe, that's why you put that much investment. You believe that egg will hatch and that's why you put that much investment, yeah?
Yes.
But you see, you don't control all the factors.
You don't, naturally.
That determine the success of that project. That's why some go south. But there's that belief initially that, look, this thing is going to work. Let's give it our all and make it work. That's why I see some artists say, and who sing the song? Na me. Who do this, na me. But who made that song possible for it to be heard? Somebody else invested money, invested time, spoke with people in the media, spoke with people
Yeah.
and did all that. Yeah. So you see, this money thing it's very touchy. It's very, very touchy. But I think for me, there's always a meeting point. And what solves that this thing is a contract. And that has to be reviewed as progress is made. Because even you look at it, if you give, because a lot of the companies I know, they earn from the recording, the sales of the music, and proceeds from this thing, and they also earn from live performances.
Okay.
Though there are some who, but they also earn from live performances. So you see some artists, they are there, they are all over the place when all is well. And when there's Wahala and all that, you find out that they didn't really make much money. They just had the name. Because they had people behind the scenes who were making the money. There's this thing I watch a lot. It's about a young Jamaican who interviews artists, producers, and all that, especially those from way back and all that.
Yeah.
I watch him a lot, and there's one thread that runs through almost all the artists about being unduly treated financially by those companies they worked with. But like I said, how much is enough?
How much is enough?
What percentage is enough? You will always, the man who has invested wants more. Naturally, as human beings, you want more.
Everybody wants
Everybody wants more. So where do you meet and say, okay, this is fair enough for all of us?
There are times to individual greed comes in, and then in both on both parties. Yes, and then you now have that jigsaw.
It takes grace of God. Yeah, it takes grace of God for people to deal with people honestly, because those of us who try to be straight, we are seen as fools.
Yeah,
but at least I'm old enough to know that no, I'm not a fool. In the end, I sleep well, knowing that I did not undo the next man. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because there are some people with so much money and all that, they don't sleep well. They don't sleep well.
Yes, they don't. They have a lot of
there's what they give the public to see. When they are themselves, they're not happy people. And I don't think anybody who trots through this earth will want to be maybe some choose that. I think the only essence is to be happy with yourself and your environment.
Yes.
That's my principle.
And it's a good one. It's a good principle. Be joyful. Have reasons to be happy.
Be happy with myself and my environment.
Don't be greedy. Yes, I'm speaking on both
parties.
It's
crazy. That greed thing. See, if I tell you, Alobi, how many times I have let money go? How many times I have let money go just so I have my peace of mind. Some people now see that, oh, no, you're like Ingo, just walk out. It doesn't make me a fool. But I've learned a lesson. You're not going to come back to me now. For whatever reason. But you see, where life can just deal you a hand, and somehow, some way, you might just find yourself back. And you're like,
and then what are you going to say now?
What are you going to do? You're going to redeem yourself before we begin to deal with
the next one.
Oh my God!
Yes, it's actually very, very necessary. That we conduct ourselves
it's
diligently.
Like I said, even if you do 50-50, somebody still thinks it's not fair.
What 50-50?
If you do, no, what I'm saying even if you do that, somebody says it's not fair. You do 60-40, somebody's crying is not fair. Somebody will always feel cheated.
But Pupa K, when you do 10-90, for instance, and then you look at from the outsider's view, the record label is greedy. And what happens if, let us say that the record label invested like 100 million, and then the artist, in all was not able to generate 5 million.
Yeah, it's happened severally.
It does, right?
It's
And now,
happened several.
if the artist now look at the colossal loss on the record label, it does, right? And everybody goes home, and the artist say, "Well, you know, because I'm happy." Now, if the artist becomes a two-face, and then he turns back with so much success, or maybe P Square, so much success, and then the artist suddenly realizes that no, 10% is not fair.
Remember, I said something that people will start talking into your ears. People start telling you, "Look, man, you deserve more than this. You can't be making. Look, do you know how much they're making out of you?" That's what happens.
It's unfortunate.
But accountability and how many, especially, and you know, like I say, you see, this is our industry. Creativity is not 1+1. No.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Some people might have it on a platter, you know, like
Yes.
just say something, and by the next day,
So
it
many
becomes-
things, so many things like abroad. There's a very deliberate process
Yeah,
to create a hit song. This song might not necessarily be a fantastic song, but
well, a lot is put
it
in.
can be turned into a hit song.
Yes. and then here you could just come and go to a studio and shout and say, and it becomes a hit song. Not so much is done into it. I'm not saying we're not putting the work, but not so much is done to it. Now, Pupa K, I want to take you to another controversial issue. Blackface, two-face, African Queen. What is your take on that?
Is there a problem with that? For me,
there's always been a problem.
For me, that's see, it's just because it still comes back to people talking in people's ears. If those guys were almost like brothers,
Yes, they are brothers.
I knew that duo before Face became part of them.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so now
Before they even put out any work. Now, those boys worked together as a team. It happens. That's why I said documentation is not our strong point. If as he gave that song, Blackface gave that song to Face, and it didn't turn out a hit, what would have happened?
What would have happened? What would have happened?
Now, good for everyone, it became a hit. It's only natural to acknowledge the fact that, okay, this guy did this, and this is my input, and we all work together to make this happen. It should be for the good of all. So a lot of the controversy over that, I think most of them were generated by other people to make money for themselves.
Personally, I am not taking anything away from Blackface, but for me, I'm thinking that he's taking it too far. He's been there for how many years? It's been long. What if African Queen wasn't a hit? He would have gone home and, you know, then it's a hit. I know probably in the initial time, you know, in the beginning, you were not taking seriously. You were not giving your due, your rightful due. And it's taking over time. Time has passed. Seeing him go to podcasts, go to media houses and still talking about it.
But you know why? You see that song? That song will continue to generate revenue.
Even with this controversy,
it will continue to generate revenue till those guys pass on. That's not a small song.
It's a big one.
Jeez.
It's a big one.
No, I know what I'm talking about. If that song is properly registered, which I suppose they've done, publishing rights and all that, that song will continue to generate money till those two guys pass. See, but when did Bob Marley die? 1981.
1981, yeah.
His family is feeding fat from his works, and not that they are even getting 100%. Oh,
yeah.
But what they are getting
is
good enough for them to pursue their personal projects, and the whole family is doing well.
Yes, they are. They are.
Imagine this last Grammys, who won? Bob Marley.
Bob Marley won a Grammy. 40 something years after that.
Reggae, yeah, this
Wow.
reggae category.
Wow. I didn't follow up.
Ah, my brother. That's why it's like you see, African Queen is a timeless song.
It's timeless. I was going
A
through.
lot of, no disrespect, but a lot of music that come out today. A friend of mine calls it microwave music. Boom boom. See, from where I'm coming from, a song will be out there for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But these songs, they are there in your face for like 3 months. If they do 3 months, they even try.
They are gone.
So they're always recording songs.
They're always recording songs.
No, no, no. But that's where we are now. Except that song is very potent. How many songs today are so potent that in the next
3, 4,
3,
5
4 years
years.
you want to still listen to them?
Israel. Israel.
Big, and that's it. And it's not just in Nigeria. At the time, Americans were complaining. I love the music in America today is done for now. So people forget them in no time. I'm telling you, I've seen a DJ, somebody requesting for a particular song, and somebody saying, that one don't ring past. You never hear the new one when you do.
And I was just going through a Facebook post last night, and I saw there was this event. I know that event is very, 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 very recent. Looks very, very recent. And Two-Face it was just giving a mic to come out, and the signature song.
I said that song is iconic.
And I know the gathering and all of that. It wasn't. I didn't see it as it's not a concert. I think it's like a gala or something.
Yeah.
And he was just singing it, and that would be probably the only song.
There's
he
magic in that song.
There is. I'm sorry to say this. I am not a fan of Nigerian music.
Yes.
I told somebody sometime, I'm not a fan of Nigerian music. I'm sorry. I play Bob Marley, Lionel Richie, those kind of Peter Tosh. And in Nigeria is Raskimono.
Yeah.
Is Mandatos.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of
yeah.
You understand? But I told somebody there's only one song I know. African Queen. That's the only song I know.
That song is too potent.
I know some of the musicians who point a gun at me. I'm sorry. But that's it. The only song I know that is done by a Nigerian is African Queen.
Yeah.
And
that song is too potent.
And of course, there are some flashes. There are some flashes you see, like P Square, but I mean Paul, Rude Boy. He has this rhythm, I know. I like some of his personal songs.
Okay.
Hallelujah. I like that. But not as long, not as I would want to remember African Queen. I want to remember, yeah. Those are the kind of things. Raskimono,
Mandatos, Majek. Like one I was speaking with a Jamaican, an ace producer from Jamaica, and he was telling me, he said, Sinclair, you see, there are certain songs, timeless songs, they might not be in your face all the time, but they will remain all the time.
They will remain all the time. They will remain. You see, I don't know where this is coming from, but Pupa K, do you know that?
Do you know how many songs are being released in this country every week?
I don't know. But do you know when we were growing up, there were some artists, I wouldn't mention them, but there were some people who say, no, now they are not as good as Daniel Wilson now. They're not as good as Majek now.
Yeah.
Brother, play those music today, you will enjoy it more than what you're hearing today. Seriously.
And but also, one thing I have come to acknowledge, Alobi, whether you like it or not, there's a little bias with you. Yes. Now I'll tell you, for me, I'm a liberated spirit.
Okay.
And I have come to acknowledge that there is a generational shift, whether we like it or not.
Or not, of course.
When we were young boys, I remember there was a time we used to buy jeans and we would repeat.
Yes. With our hands.
What's the training, what they are making today, you go to the boutique and buy. We will repeat, and my father would say, this is a mad generation. How can you go and buy jeans
and use your hand
and then you destroy it
shred
yourself?
It.
Why will you do that? But today it is done that way, and sold in the boutique.
Sold with high cost.
Exactly.
But that still remains mad generation for me. I wouldn't put that on. I wouldn't like my kids wear that.
So now you see, there are things we started appreciating at the time I and you who got interested in music. Reggae music was the music of choice in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to play reggae music.
Yes, everybody.
Now, but then you see the beauty of it was in the whole of that mix, we still had people like Onyeka Onwenu who wasn't doing reggae, who stood out. Mike Okri wasn't doing reggae, he stood out. We still had people. Bright Chimeze didn't do reggae, he was out there. But majority, it's the same thing that's happening today. Majority of the kids are gravitating towards a particular kind of, and it's evolving, because if you check what Remedies did, between the Remedies and now,
I think the shift started from that side.
Yes. So when you check from the Remedies to this time, you can appreciate the shift. You understand? So it, whether we like it or not, it must evolve. Even roots reggae, like my reggae friends will tell me, Jamaican artists will tell me that if Bob Marley was alive, he wouldn't have been playing reggae the way he was playing it. And to attest to that, some of the last album and some of his unreleased work, you could see that he was shifting. When he started, what were they playing? Ska. They moved from ska to rocksteady, from rocksteady to roots reggae. Now, a lot of the songs that became popular as roots reggae songs were some songs he recorded during the ska or rocksteady era. A lot of those songs he had recorded them previously. Even,
but you know that some of them he also re-recorded them.
No, that's what I said. They had recorded them earlier.
Yes.
They had to rework them to work with the time.
The time, yes, you're right. They work with the time. Yes,
exactly. Like there's this big song done by Bob Marley's son Stephen Marley, "Pale Moonlight." It's a beautiful song. A lot of people don't know that song was actually Bob Marley's song. I have a collection of Bob Marley's the Wailers original recordings. So sometimes when I play for my friends those versions, I've not heard this before. I said this is the original recordings. So a lot of those songs were actually done. Yeah. Then they now reworked them, gave them some more life to work with what was happening then. So you found out that as his music was progressing, there was a lot of injection of some rock feel.
Yes.
Because one, you had to sell, even when they did their albums, what Chris Blackwell did was take their albums after they did their basic stuff to Europe, to the UK, to do overdubs. Got musicians who are not really reggae musicians to make their own input so that it will have an international appeal.
Yes.
So what these kids are doing today, I appreciate it in their own way. I try to understand with them. But a lot of my generation will say, oh boy, now noise. Okay. The same way our fathers will say some of the things what they do now noise. Yes.
So maybe I should really apologize.
Yes.
And understand with the system. Okay.
Because your son or your daughter might connect with that instantly. But you will have to purge yourself of what you have held onto strongly, that this is how I believe music should be.
Yes.
Free yourself. And I'm telling you, you'll find something good in some of these songs.
Yes, actually, there are still actually good ones. There are still songs by Burna Boy, Davido,
and there's something Whiskey, that happened even in Jamaica, and it's happening now. Those days, you will come up with a song. You go to the studio and they try to create a rhythm for that song. But these days, they build a rhythm and people write a song for
on it.
Rhythm. So you have young boys who just make beats now and sell.
Yes.
Then you take the beat and go and write a song on that beat. But those days you have the song, so it is the reverse situation now.
Yes, it's true. I really should be more liberal.
Yes.
Just that I am stuck.
I know.
I am stuck with what
I listen to everything. I listen to everything. Traditional music, whatever.
I do listen to Brad Chimezi.
I listen to
I
everything
listen
because
to Oriental Brothers,
there's
Warrior.
something. You see, music speaks. It speaks its own language
Yeah.
that cuts across. If only you'll be patient with it. So I'll be a little bit patient with what
Yeah,
this
yeah, I
young
should
man are
be.
doing
I should be.
today.
And I apologize to you guys are doing great, really, really. They are. I mean, they are winning Grammys, winning awards here and there.
Mm.
Just that I grew up from a different generation that I'm kind of stuck,
Yes.
with what I'm used to.
Yes.
And just like what you said, have you tried to listen to the album that Bob Marley's album that was released after his death?
Mm.
What was that? The one where you have Trench Town.
Yeah. Iron,
have,
Lions, Iron.
I like. You see how those are not like the songs he used to do.
Exactly.
Yes, he was actually
Exactly.
changing with time. Of course, time change is natural thing.
And a lot of the recordings back in the day was analog.
Yeah.
A lot of what they do today is sampling.
Sampling, yeah. It's not the same. In analog, you have to be thorough. You have to be good.
You have to rehearse it, and you have to know how to keep timing.
Timing, the session man.
But now you have a metronome that gives you the timing, so everything will fall into
before
place.
it starts. Well, what a change in time. Yes, yes, and we are evolving. I mean, it's a natural thing. We thank God for all of this, and yes, you've been hearing all these wonderful things from a music icon who's gone far and wide doing music and appealing to souls. Now there's something else that he hasn't said. Public speaking.
Yes. Oh boy. Oh boy.
How did that start? How has it been?
And funny enough, the first time my dad heard me speak in public, he was like, because I used to be a very, very shy kid. Very, very shy kid.
Shy?
Yes, very, very. So even in primary school, everybody knew my mother. Because whenever I won prizes, she was the one that used to go out and pick
Because
them.
you wouldn't want to come
No.
in. I'm very shy too.
I used to be very... So me getting into music, when my parents heard I was singing, they actually came to watch me. That was one gala night, Ratau gala night.
Ratau.
It was myself, Jambo's Express. Remember Jambo's Express?
Yes.
Myself, Jambo's Express. There's this guy. He was in Germany. So I played that show. My parents came. They didn't tell me they were coming to watch. They just said they were going out, and I got to the venue, Civic Center, and I saw them on front row. I almost didn't want to perform.
Because your parents were there?
It was the first time they were watching me sing, because they couldn't believe that this guy would stand in front of a crowd and sing. But my friend, who we call Magic Johnson, said, Pupa, they don't pay you. Do your thing. So I braved it and all that, I used to be very, very, very shy performing. Very, very. But I was able to overcome it. And then speaking, I think my dad encouraged I and my siblings. My dad loves the English language with almost the same passion he has for football.
For football, wow.
Yes. My dad listens to the news and is correcting somebody. He states that no, the application of those tenses are wrong. And you argue with him, he'll go and bring your books. He has some that are this big. He'll say, look at it. That application is very wrong. Certain things we used to just say, we'll think it was right. My dad would say, Like, I know it's very common for Nigerians to say, you both did this. But that's how can you say that? It's the both of you.
The both of you, yeah.
But Nigerians say, even I hear a lot of people who are supposed to be academics, you both. Come on, I used to be there. But that's it. So he made me love English language. Love it so much. And without sounding too modest, I've always had straight A's when it comes to English.
Yeah.
All through. Yes. So it started as a joke, because sometimes even when we sit as friends, I say certain things not planned, there's some, will I call it wisdom? Some words that just come out of me, and my friend will say, "Come, would you just talk am again, make I hear." How you take think and because one, I listen, I'm a good listener. So
Okay.
friends they can confide in me, they can talk with me. Before I knew what's happening, it was a friend who suggested. One day somebody invited me that I was going to speak in one secondary school. I said, "Speak on what?" I finished. I said, "Okay, no problem." I spoke, and you know one thing, all the places I have, presented this thing, I've never written a speech.
Okay, comes.
Yes,
Wow.
I've never written.
Impulsively.
I have never written a speech. And I used to I get invited to do it, and I didn't know I would be earning money from it. And they I come and speak here, and they pay me money, and I'm like, what is this? They very interesting, So just from talking, guys got the whole something. Oh, but I'm telling you, and I get paid for it, and I'm like, wow. I get the fly me, put me in good hotels to go speak.
Come and speak.
30 minutes, 15 minutes, and I come back with some bread. I say, wow. But and like I said, I'm not a motivational speaker. Whenever I say no, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not there for that kind of. I am a realist. I talk from the heart, and most times I use my experiences as the foundation for what I'll be putting out. Yes, I don't build castles in the sky. I say it as it is.
As it is, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of. I remember there was once I spoke somewhere. I won't say it, but a lot of big people were there, and the way I dealt with the topic, a lot of them were very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Somebody actually came to whisper in my ear. One of the big men came to whisper in my ear. I said, "Oh boy, this guy not be waiting. Will say make you come talk here." I said, "But we have to deal with
We have to
look at who is listening. I'm not speaking for you. Look at the people that are listening to what is being said here. I can't say what I don't live. You understand? I can't talk on what I don't live. So whatever I say, I should be held accountable for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't tell you this is a black shirt and you see me, I'm wearing a red shirt. No. So some of them, even on my programs on radio, sometimes when I try to go political, I'll just get a message, "Oh boy, cool down. It happens all the time.
Okay, they will test you to say cool
down.
down.
They will send me messages. It happens all the time. "Oh boy, cool down, now, relax." But now cool down, relax. Now we find ourselves where we did right now. Because a lot of us, for the price of whatever, we go against our principles and do certain things. And you ask yourself, is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? I don't want to have that hanging over my head. But I enjoy especially with youths. Like my dad enjoyed working with kids, football. The same way I enjoy talking with youths. Like my kids are my friends. We can have some solid conversations. So when my kids also are with their mates, they talk on a particular level, and these children say you are behaving like an old person. But it's okay. I tell them it's okay. They used to tell your daddy that too. It's cool.
And from all of this music, speaking, and all of that,
and
how much
on air,
yes,
on radio,
root vibes, and all of that. Oh, and those signature talks, shout that you used to do on radio. Wonderful. And then the awards. How many have they? How have they been flooding in?
Too many.
For
everybody who has appreciated me, God bless you. I don't know what you saw or what you're seeing, because I know I'm still gonna get a lot more.
Yeah.
Just got one on the 8th. That was last week, Saturday.
Yes. Okay.
I just got one, and I really do. I am. Am I free to mention the name of the organization?
Yes. You are.
Galaxy Music Awards. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate what they did, and the turnout, the organization was quite impressive. I really enjoyed it, and for the year, Between January and now, I've already gotten two.
Wow. And this is just
Mm,
March.
mm.
That's wonderful.
Some for certain things that I didn't even give a thought about. So it just tells you that we have to be careful.
Yeah.
Alobi, you have to be careful because you're responsible to not just yourself and your immediate family. You're responsible to your community.
Yeah.
You're responsible to your environment. Because some things I have been given awards for, I'm like,
You
but I
never
didn't,
thought
I just
deep
did
about
this.
it.
They say,
Yeah.
yes, but people are watching. I just did say, yeah, people are watching, you know, from diverse, not just music. And I give thanks, but music, basically, a lot of it has been music. A lot of it has been music, and it's been nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Let me just go digress a bit. Are you political?
Man is a political animal.
Okay.
Man, naturally, when you get to a particular age. But as politician, no, I am not.
Okay.
As I would say, me born them bear fire.
Burn them fire.
Fire, because I I try as much as possible. I try to use the platform provided me, which is my program on radio.
Yeah.
I try to use that platform to do my own little bit. And what I do with my program on radio, which is very unique, I don't just play music. There's a theme for every week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
pick
remember. I
I pick
remember. I
a
remember.
theme. Maybe I'm talking about abuse. I'm talking about corruption. I'm talking about, so what I do. There's a lot of academic input, intellectual input. So I begin to research for songs that deal with that topic. It's quite some work, but that's what I do every week, and I've been doing that for almost 18 years.
Wow.
I create a theme for the week, like the one I'll be doing this week. I had already worked out what I was gonna do, but we lost Coco Tea yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
Unfortunately,
going
I
to do a
saw it on
tribute. I'm gonna
Facebook.
do a tribute to Coco Tea.
I should be
So
listening
that's,
to
yes,
that.
that's what I'll be doing. So I usually pick a theme, deal with that theme, and I basically know everybody who is in the political space,
Yeah.
especially in these parts. Either I schooled with some, or I played with some, or came into contact with some
With
somewhere, somewhere, somehow. So I always try to. I try not to get involved. Like what's happening in River State now. It's a very sad situation. It hurts me so bad, because we shouldn't have allowed ourselves to get to where we are now. No need, no need. But that's where we found ourselves now. It's sad, but I pray they all find a middle ground
Yeah.
to resolve all this, so this beautiful state can just move forward.
Yes. We really have to find a middle ground to
Mm,
resolve
mm,
all issues.
mm.
Issues bothering on music, bothering on
Yeah.
whatever endeavor.
Yes.
Let's find a middle ground and
Mm,
be peaceful.
mm.
It's been wonderful talking to you, Pupa
Thank
K.
you, my brother.
And you have really made my day today.
Thank you.
I want to thank you. I want to appreciate your presence here.
Thank you
and
so much.
Thank you for being here.
Anytime, I love you. Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime. Blessings.
Yes. So we'll be rounding off from here. You've had it all. And your last take before we end.
Mm.
What would be your last take? What would be your advice to the younger generations?
It's what I say anywhere I go to. Each one, reach one, teach one.
Did you hear that? Can you say that again, please?
Each one, reach one, teach one.
Each one, reach one, teach one, is a wonderful philosophy. If you reach out to people,
Mm,
you teach them
mm,
what you know.
mm.
What you have to teach them basically is love
That's
and
it.
peace.
That's it.
We'll be signing off on this. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Alobi Edwards. Thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.